Welcome to Required Taste Podcast. We are back.
I don't hear anything out of here.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Oh, yeah, we never plugged your shit in.
Wow.
Take the hint.
Oh, wow. This is awkward.
If only you were a few feet from us and could hear what we were saying.
Yeah, right. There you go. All right. So when I asked if everybody was ready, and everyone was like, yeah, we're ready.
I was waiting for the music. I just thought everyone else didn't hear it either.
You just sitting silent.
That's why I was just staring down. I was like, all right.
We're just sitting here like we're in a fucking waiting room together.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, why were we, like, we went from saying a lot of words to no words at all.
Felt a little awkward. A little bit.
Only for you.
Apparently so. Well, welcome to Required Taste Podcast. We're back.
Mother of God.
As you can tell, there's...
Some of us are back.
I just got here, right?
Yeah, unplug them.
I have
Unplug them again. Is that enough for the conversation?
So you want Tech Daddy to unplug them and plug them back in and see if it fixes it?
No, just unplug.
Okay,
Ain't no
then.
fixing that. Ain't nobody blowing in that cartridge.
Mainly euthanized.
Oh, man. Well, we're Required Taste Podcast. As you can tell, Ben and John are here.
We can hear you.
So is DJ, apparently.
I'm back. See, this is what happens when I quit smoking weed. Mm-hmm. It's the opposite effect for me.
Yeah.
Is what you think it is.
Okay.
I think you're making excuses. I think when you're smoking weed, you're just not doing so much, so you're not fucking up as much shit.
I can't agree or disagree with that, honestly. It's kind of true, kind of not,
Mm-hmm.
Somehow your lenses are less orange.
Really? What
It's
happened?
the lack of weed smoke.
I'm starting to get the light
I'm
back in my
concerned that
eye.
he exudes it.
They started off clear.
I don't know the meaning of the word.
Clear?
No, exudes.
I blame
It's coming out of your pores. Let's put it that way.
I blame public school education.
Okay, yeah.
You know, like you exude charisma
They did fail me.
or something.
They did fail me, yes.
They failed a lot of people.
Yeah, Ben
Like,
has done more than they have, for sure, at this point.
You were at that tender age where, like, you were before the No Child Left Behind.
Dude, I was in a lot of public schools, and they all sucked.
I don't think I would use the word tender regarding DJ ever.
So, anyways, we're Required Taste Podcast. Get this intro done so we can just dive into this, apparently. Jeez. If you're new to our podcast, we do some history, mystery music, stuff like that. We take suggestions from listeners as well. So if you got something, go ahead and reach out to us. We'll probably try to cover it sooner than later. If you're new, we do about 10, 15, 20 minutes of banter. Gets us the ice broken, gets us a little loosened up, in the mood to talk about whatever the subject line is for this one. I haven't named it yet. We haven't recorded it yet. Anywho, so if you are a returning listener, welcome back. Hope you've had a good day today. Your butt looks nice. I hope you drank some water. Find your peace. If you have to be a menace to find your peace, go ahead and do it today. Slap somebody. Tell somebody to go fuck themselves. It'll make you feel better.
Choose violence.
Choose violence in the name
easy.
of peace.
I was saying, that piece is not about to last long. At least not between the four of us.
I chose peace today. I'm doing just fine, actually. I have water.
You literally changed the subject of the episode.
I corrected the subject of the episode. There's a difference.
The subject.
Corrected.
You're drunk on power. You change centuries. Easy
John,
there,
don't make me
Thanos.
correct you. I will correct you like they did in the 80s. With a belt. You jackass. Anywho.
I thought you were going to say AIDS.
Oh, well, that was okay. All right. All right.
It's the Tom Hanks
So
treatment.
back to returning listeners, we appreciate you. We have more followers now, so if you are one of the new followers, we appreciate it. As per usual, we get your forehead kisses. Indeed. Also, if you've heard on the last episode or saw our Facebook post, we actually do have a non-alcoholic beverage out at Foreign Local called Forehead Kisses.
Yes, it is delightful.
It is actually really fucking good.
Super good. Yeah.
It is really good. So, we have our beer is actually still in circulation too, if you can find it. I know Set 'em Up just tapped the keg recently, so it's probably still there by the time this comes out. I would assume it's still there. But yeah, if you want the NA cocktail, though, that's going to be always on at Foreign. So you can go there, get yourself a forehead kiss. Mikey actually might give you a forehead kiss if you ask nice enough. There is a chance.
Possible, you know,
If you're nice and he likes you,
if you're cool enough.
right? If you are worthy, if you are deemed worthy, you will receive a forehead kiss from Mikey. So that's tight. So yeah, this week we are we got a question from Ben this week to start us off, man. What you got? Buddy?
Indubitably.
Oh fuck!
I'm gonna
Okay.
leave.
You still have time. You still have time.
So if you were in a Chinese re-education camp, no, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Wow, real short episode.
Who would you eat first? No.
John, he's the youngest meat.
What's the least meat?
That's not true. That's just gonna be tender to motherfucker. Go. I'll get you real quick. I have something to show you.
It's called a slow cooker. No, it was, this comes from my friend Monica. And what period, I forget if she was talking about all history, but we'll say American.
Sure.
What period, and not era necessarily, it could be if you wanted, what point in American history would you turn into a musical if you could?
Ooh. See, a lot of them have been done.
Oh yes.
So-
Again, I mean, you can do era, you can do, a very minute point in
9/11.
history. You're taking my answers?
It's the only obvious answer.
That's not the only obvious one. Mine was
start the fire.
mine was the O.J. Simpson trial.
Oh, jeez.
I want to see Johnny Cochran
Yeah, dude.
belting it out.
Oh my god,
That's a good one.
dude. I would probably pick like 80s in Miami era.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I would love
Just
to
a
see it.
slew
Just
of time.
The
cocaine
purest cocaine.
musical. Yeah,
So you want to see the Scarface musical?
lot of white rhythm. You know, that's what I
Dude,
want to see. You know?
the pureness of the coke gave them rhythm.
That musical would be a bop, though.
Yeah, I watch
The
it.
music would hit. These motherfuckers would be the Soul Train, all that shit. You know,
I feel like all you'd have to do is take a Michael Jackson music video and throw it into Scarface, and you got it.
A little bit of sprinkle some Prince in there.
yeah. I
See,
can see that, yeah.
I feel like the 70s was the musical, and you can't convince me otherwise. I feel like all the music just fit what was going on, and you can't convince me that it wasn't actually playing in the background.
I feel like I wouldn't be able to convince a lot of people that were there that it wasn't a musical.
Again, the pureness of that cocaine. Exquisite.
Yeah.
Clearwater Creedence just blasting it all the time.
But yes,
For the Vietnamese, it was.
Yeah, it was. They'll be all right.
Yeah, I'd pay money to see that musical.
yeah, I want to
sure.
see. I want to see OJ
Oh,
throwing the glove on with. I
If
don't-
the glove does not fit, you
I don't
must
know,
have quit.
the Jaws theme or something going on behind her. Nah.
oh my god.
I feel like there's been so many musicals made about tragedies throughout all of American history. Like, it's hard to kind of find one that's not just like awful.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's 80s Miami. It's a beautiful tragedy because everybody had fun.
Yeah, until they didn't.
And yeah, until
Yeah,
it
until
ended.
it
You know, it's not like they were tortured the whole fucking time like
Right.
some other points in history, you know.
Yeah, it's fine.
Wasn't MK Ultra going on in that time frame?
No, it's like way before that. ain't
Yeah, I mean, it was before, but I mean, also,
Yeah.
who's to argue it ever stopped?
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
So- True.
Yeah, who said it ever did
Yeah.
stop? Yeah.
More on that another time. I got my theories.
We've actually had that on the list for so
Yeah.
long
Yeah,
now.
we've been avoiding
What's that fucking musical sound like? The MK Ultra musical.
I was
They're
about to
singing
say.
it-
a Stanford experiment
They're
fucking
singing
musical.
in colors.
Oh, dude, that's Fantasia, obviously.
Yeah,
Think about it.
yeah.
Yep, the original Fantasia, not the remake. See, back in the day, John, there was a movie called Fantasia, right?
In
And
the
not
days-
2000.
In the days of yore.
What's great is members of our friend group were like, "Oh, now that you've had a birthday, maybe they'll stop making fun of you for being young." And I'm
Who
like,
the fuck said something dumb like that?
Right? Clearly, they don't know what's right.
I was like, I don't think it's ever going to stop. I could be in my 70s.
Yeah, we'll be in our 80s.
Yeah, and still. Yeah.
Well, this fucking young whippersnapper. What a jackass.
I I hope we're still doing the podcast.
You know, this is a podcast from an old folks' home. Jeez.
I'm fine with
At
it.
that point, our consciousness is.
I'm perfectly fine with
Skynet.
Shut that fucking bingo game down. We're recording.
I could honestly see that going pretty well, actually. I'd be way more entertained by it personally.
I'd have a heart attack
I mean,
episode 2.
By then, virtual
Obviously.
reality and AI is going to be so crazy. We'll just be able to plug in and just be right back here.
We won't.
know.
We won't have physical bodies.
Yeah,
Some of that is just terrifying.
it is.
not
Insert the
gonna lie.
Matrix.
But true.
I'm pretty confident if my job could, they would put me in a computer and just leave me there.
You're,
Like, I am confident they would
Yeah.
do
you're
that.
one step away.
Damn near, really. Fucking hell.
This is the only thing keeping you from it.
Well, every time they talk about AI, I'm like, please don't. Can we just not? Like, I just don't need another responsibility.
Scary. Yeah.
So,
Anyways,
on AI,
Just got real depressing in here real quick. Like, oh shit.
these were musicals. They're supposed to be happy.
No, they're not.
Way to bring down the house, Ben.
The OJ one was.
I mean, like, listen, like the Sound of Music really was pretty sad. If you really want to think about it. Wasn't there a musical about the 20s as well, like the Great Depression? I can't remember what it was called, but I'm pretty sure there was a
There's gotta
musical
be.
about.
A musical?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is.
Was Grapes of Wrath a musical? Ever?
They made
I'd watch it.
the fucking Little Rascals, and that's about a bunch of homeless kids during the fucking depression. They
Yep.
got to have musicals about.
That's
you know,
true.
that.
I did not know that was a musical.
Not Little Rascals wasn't a musical, but the original
okay.
TV show
Yeah.
is literally they're homeless kids
Yeah.
trying to
No,
find
no,
food.
that I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
What's that line that you always love so much from that show?
Oh man, that's the artichoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Like Stymie gets an artichoke from this lady, and he spends a whole episode trying to figure out how to open it. And when he finally gets it open, he's like, "It might have choked Artie, but it ain't gonna choke Stymie."
The amount of times I've heard you say that.
I love it. It's so hilarious.
Did we ever have a discussion on the fact that the Three Stooges are on YouTube?
I think we have in person.
Yeah, like they have their own channel.
Really?
Three Stooges Plus.
I used to watch
On-
that like
Yeah,
religiously.
on
when I
YouTube.
was a
You go
kid.
on there, you watch all their episodes. It's terrific.
You've definitely told me that in person.
Yeah,
Wow.
no,
You
it's-
mentioned it.
I'm a happier person.
Man,
since
when
it's
I'm
happened.
gonna show my dad that when I get home, and he's gonna fucking love that.
Dude, it's so good.
Dude, get him a little joint. Sit
Oh
down.
yeah, he'll be good to go.
It's
He'll never leave his room.
Yeah, it's all the Andy Griffith show right now.
Oh, nice.
That song is constantly playing in my house.
And that was constantly playing in my head. Thanks for
I
that.
like the Andy Griffith Show.
funny.
I watched that
Yeah,
Nick and
it's
Night
hilarious.
when we were kids.
Yeah,
yeah.
sometimes I sit in
Yeah.
there and like I'm like the funniest shit's going on. Just
Yeah.
quickest little fucking jokes.
Yeah, Andy Griffith and Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah.
I like both of those.
Yeah, he watches.
Yeah, those are
both
both
of
good.
them.
Oh, our grandparents. Well, your dad, but like my grandfather was definitely a big proponent of both of those shows.
Yeah.
Good times. Anywho, so what we got going today, man? We got some we got a topical topic
Yeah, we do.
that allegedly I changed. I corrected myself.
And I'm so glad it
You
was
did.
corrected.
You pulled a Pope Gregory and changed time. It's up there, Thanos.
Well, I
Like
wish
I said, it only could have gotten better if nobody had noticed, and we just.
I wish.
on air. What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm glad I literally messaged that this morning. I just wanted to double check. I'm so fucking glad I did.
yeah, I woke up, so I'm like, oh, all right.
I would give anything to see the version of me walking in talking about 773 BC, the first Olympics, played for Zeus.
There was a guy named Marathon.
Yeah.
Or no, going to Marathon.
Yeah.
Some of the games they had though have some really fucking funny names though.
Oh hell yeah!
They're-
Well, it's the Greek language.
It's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you couldn't tell, we're talking about the Olympics today. Again, like you can always tell from the title. I don't know why I wait so long to bring it up. It's the kind of thing at this point. I'm not going to change it.
It's like maybe they can guess it though before we get to it. That's a
Well,
fun
if they
little thing.
read, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe
you
they're
know,
clicking on Spotify like this.
Just hit random, I guess.
Nah.
It's true.
It's time.
Yeah, the 1904 Olympics.
Yeah, to be more
Not
specific,
the
the
first
1904.
Olympics or the what was it?
Other first.
Well, it was the
Olympics.
first in America.
Yeah.
So, in your face. Bitch ass.
All four of us were on a different fucking page.
Well, because so I talked about this with DJ in person yesterday. I'm like, yeah, it's the first one in America in St. Louis. It's like, yeah, cool. And then I forgot to put that in the group chat. So
you have the first Olympics in roughly 773 BC.
Yeah.
Then you have the first Olympics after those stopped in 1896 AD.
yeah.
And now we're on 1904. 3 firsts. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
I mean, granted, we are Americans. Anything that happens outside of America really doesn't matter.
Nor does it count.
So, I mean, because it was obviously those two were before 1776. So, like, does it really care? Like, does
Well, Mercedes technically, invented the first car. But we
Yeah.
talk about the Ford.
well, we always talk about the Ford.
Eat it.
Well, there is a lot with his story too. I actually watched a documentary about him not too long ago.
Which one, Mercedes or Ford?
The one on History Channel that actually was about history.
Yeah. No. I meant about Mercedes or Ford.
Mercedes.
Oh, okay. That would be interesting. I know far too much about Henry Ford.
Well, yeah, Nazis. And,
Anti-Semite.
yeah, the Nazi part. We got to say that part louder for people that don't know about it. I feel like people like, wait a minute.
Him and Walt Disney are roommates wherever they are.
It might be warm.
Should have worn the mouse head.
Cut down that humidity a little bit. So yeah, we're going to talk about. It's funny because we're going to talk about something very specific that happened during these Olympics. And I just realized I made a joke about us not caring about foreign cultures, and there was a whole big ass debacle that happened at the current Olympics about what the opening ceremonies, because people just did not know about the original play that they were doing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they thought it was the Last Supper, but it wasn't.
It's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah,
I got
it's-
no idea. I haven't been following it.
So it was not Sisyphus. What was the person's name? I can't
Oh, I
remember.
don't fucking know.
Well, let me get. I'm gonna Dionysus. I'm gonna go with Dionysus.
Yes. Yeah. They did during the open ceremonies. They did a depiction of this feast that the Greeks used to do to say the name
Dionysus.
Dionysus. And it very closely resembles Michelangelo's The Last Supper.
Okay.
So every fucking swinging dick in the U.S. was like, they're mocking Christianity.
Yeah. Not realizing that there were religions
No.
before that.
No, it's your religion has some guy who painted a painting in the 1400s that closely resembles the Greeks' feast.
Oh,
thing.
and to make it even worse, there were also perhaps people that were gay or people that were trans dressed as the actors of this too. So you're adding in that factor to it as well. That America was just pissed. Americans were just pissed.
This is a big thing.
Yeah, it
Okay.
actually blew the fuck up. I'm surprised you didn't hear about it.
I actively didn't pay attention.
Oh, I didn't even watch it. The most American you will ever find me is during the Olympics, and that's if I bother to watch Olympics.
I watched the Gojira.
That was tight.
That was dope.
The last
That was really
time,
cool.
the last time I watched anything to do with the Olympics, like actually sat there and watched it, Michael Jordan was on the Dream Team
That was a good fucking time though.
a long time ago.
But a good time though. Yeah, the absolute domination that was like, wait a minute, we're losing at our own sport. Bring them in.
This was so long ago, and I was so young that I was sitting there going, "Why don't they just have these guys together all the time?"
Indeed.
Yeah, I don't know how any of
Yeah,
this
that one
works.
time that America lost in the sport, so they called Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, and Magic Johnson to get a team together and beat
Hell
them.
yeah.
And just beat the shit out of the world.
Fucking fix this shit.
Yeah, because then it happened again. They brought like Kobe, can you help us out, man? And Kobe did. And then it happened again this time. That's because we were getting our asses kicked again in basketball. I mean, basketball worldwide sport, and a lot of players from around the world are now starting to be able to come and play in the NBA, which is great, good for competition. However, they also have their home countries that are also getting pretty fucking good. Like we almost lost a few times already in the preliminaries just because the rest of the world's actually gotten pretty good at basketball. Good for them. Good for them. But I just like the Olympics is always a funny time for me because I just always think about the straight up domination that America is. Like think about like this like small country in Africa. Like I have like the best of my people. Like, okay, cool. Like we have the 12 best people at this certain sport. And then America just comes through and dominates with like a third string person. It's like, oh yeah, you work at a grocery store, right? Come and play cricket We don't know rules. Just hit this motherfucker. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And then we dominate.
And it worked.
Every time. Like the hilarity that ensues with American domination in sports is just
It's the chemtrails.
there should be a second Olympics at this point. Like there's the American one and then for everybody else. Because you're really just playing for bronze.
The enhanced games. I hope they get that going next year, man.
Oh yeah,
They
we did
allow-
talk about
yeah,
that.
they allow the PEDs.
Dude, I'm just trying to see how fast a human can actually run.
That's what I'm saying.
How high can a human actually jump?
I'm trying to see the basketball score be like fucking 300 to fucking 80, some shit like that. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to see.
So you want to see one side enhanced and the other not?
Well, not everybody's gonna, not everybody's gonna be, doing
Just
that.
leave the
you
door
know?
open for it, really. You know, I mean, I've seen NFL blitz. I'm trying to see it in real life.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Just saying. Don't blame me for
Like
curiosity.
maybe
I'm,
one side did steroids and the other side did meth.
I'm just a man of science. I'm trying to find out. I believe they call it the fuck around and find out method. I'm just trying to see some shit.
Apparently, I mean, you don't have to be even like a fucking country to compete in the Olympics. You have like the Russian team.
Yeah.
Russia is not allowed to compete in the Olympics
Oh,
because
okay.
they keep fucking
Yeah,
doing
so they don't have an official envoy.
So they have a team that's like it's like some acronym. It's like the competitors of Russia, but not Russia.
Right. Wink.
Bigger Slav state. We compete.
What's great is like they also continuously pop for steroids.
I mean, in Mother Russia, steroids take you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just love that the Russians think they're not going to get tested.
They've never been a proper country. I keep saying it. I keep meaning
I
it.
feel like we talked about this in person again, like recently.
We did. We did. It was Friday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did
Yeah.
see you both recently.
Yeah, when I made that orphan joke. What the hell was it? It was a communist restaurant, and like the fifth time you get a sub from them, they give you an orphan to raise. That's how communism works.
And people keep trying it; it just never works out. Anyways, let's move past this. We're gonna have to move past this. Just the shakes.
I got the jitters.
So this podcast is going to be covering what happened in 1904 Olympics in America. The first one that actually was held in the U.S. of A. In St. Louis.
Smack dab in the middle.
Yeah, the middle of the country.
Yeah.
Well, it was originally supposed to have been Chicago.
Yeah.
Which is oddly because we still never had an Olympics up here. I'm not mad about
I
it.
thank God every day.
I'm not mad about
Yeah.
that. I'm just
Oh
saying.
my god.
I think maybe that's why the violence keeps up. They're like, we got to keep these motherfuckers out of here.
Right.
You know?
You know what's funny? Because you think with all the violence, the rent prices would go down.
Nope.
Nope.
Thanks, capitalism.
Nope.
You dick. So, anyways, so 1904 America. Obviously, we're talking about before a lot of things. So, not many people came.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not many people
the
made it.
first passenger airplane wasn't invented till 1908.
Right.
So the only way you were going to be able to get over here was by boat and then train. If you couldn't do a train, maybe you were just fucking poor and you barely made it by boat. You would have to hitchhike. And there's not many cars. There's cars, but
Right.
there's not many. Or horse carriage, or
Again, the Model T hasn't happened yet.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like we're talking
yeah.
about like
That's-
before any kind of transportation
Yeah.
that we're familiar with.
you know, you're talking a guy could spend a couple weeks just
On a
trying to get
journey.
to fucking St. Louis
on a
you know?
vision quest.
Yeah.
And somebody did one, essentially. But yeah, we're talking about like if you were from Europe, it would be months at sea, then weeks by train just to get to the middle of the country and compete in the Olympics.
Just to get to Missouri.
Yeah, right. Just get to, right.
Show me,
Yeah.
state. Show me fucking what?
And the only
We
reason
have an arch.
Show me the way out.
the only reason they did this, like they were looking at Philly, they were looking at New York because of course it's right.
Well, it's
fucking
right there,
It's on the coast.
easy. But
Yeah.
the World's Fair was taking place in St. Louis pretty much at the same time. The Olympics were from July till November. It's like 5 fucking months long of that. And that the World's Fair, pretty much the same people that ran that were like, I want some of that fucking Olympic juice. I want a little taste of that. I think we can make some money off this motherfucker.
Yeah, and essentially what they said was because again they wanted Chicago because even that you can still get to by boat eventually.
Yeah.
Or train. I mean, St. Louis and Chicago now are pretty close. Now,
just do the Tom Sawyer down the Mississippi.
Hey man, look, somebody had to. Start to 04. That book didn't write itself.
So many 30 picket fences later, we get there.
And a lot of N-words.
Yeah, the games are done.
A lot of people saying that.
Fucker still hasn't paid me.
Yep. So pretty much what St. Louis was saying was like, hey, we either have the rules for here, let us get the Olympics. Chicago was like, you can go fuck yourself. They're like, we'll have our own Olympic Games, essentially, if you don't give it to us.
Yeah.
We'll make our own games that will take away from the Olympic Games if you don't give it to us. So they said, screw it. All right, you got it. Take it. You know. So only 12 nations made it. And
yeah, that's wild. I think what it was like 650 contenders.
630 athletes from 12 nations.
Yeah, and fewer than 100 were from outside the USA.
523 were Americans. 239 gold medals to the United States.
that hasn't changed.
USA.
Great is like some of these people were just like people. They were that.
Yeah.
Well, it was more focused on amateur.
Yeah, one of these dudes that placed was like a bricklayer. He doesn't like train for this.
Yeah.
He was just like a dude.
Well, if he's a bricklayer, he's been training for discus. He just didn't know
Yeah,
it.
shot put.
Or shot put.
You got some field events out of that.
Yeah,
there were a lot of people.
Guaranteed he's thrown something at the foreman once.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure a bricklayer now can probably throw a shot put further than me. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I respect that.
Yeah.
But what was great is you could have told me this entire event was just like people who organized this. Anything from distance measuring to planning the routes to planning water.
It sounds like Jackass 5.
Yeah, we're going to get to this.
We could have planned this event better.
Oh, easily. Much easier. I mean, just from setting up more than one water station, 11 miles into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was also poisoned
That didn't give
with
you
dysentery. All right. So, again, we're talking about 1904 here. This is early America. I mean, St. Louis had pretty much just appeared at this point. I mean, we're not even into the American history that deep yet.
Wyatt Earp is still alive.
I actually have him on a list to talk about eventually.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm down. Tombstone's one of my favorite movies.
I love Tombstone so much.
So much. But yeah, Wyatt Earp is still alive. Use that as a...
Yeah, as a point of reference. They made Wild West movies about this dude who was alive during this time.
Yeah, that just ended.
Yeah. Oh man, good times. So the funniest thing about this whole excursion was the marathon. Obviously, the marathon has been one of the biggest events. The first Olympics was pretty much centered around it, really. If you think about
1896 is the first time they did a marathon.
Right.
Yeah, and
they
they kind of did some fuck shit then too, but like it was in Athens, Greece, and I think it was a lot of athletes actually competing in that.
Sure.
As opposed to just
dudes.
Fucking pedestrians.
So let me tell y'all the problem with this race. So
there's either pedestrians or fast pedestrians. What?
Or apparently a fucking car.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. So part of the problem with running a marathon is you gotta deal with the elements, of course. But most marathons don't take place in the middle of fucking summer. For obvious reasons. Those reasons being death.
Yep.
So the day that they decided to run this was in not only in the middle of the summer, but it's also in the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah, it's in like the middle of August, and like instead of running it in the morning, they were like, let's do it at 3.
Right. So afternoon time. Apparently,
errands to run.
The heat index when they raced was at 135 degrees.
Yeah, it literally had 100% humidity.
But I also want to say, like, check the science on that. This is 1904 numbers. Somebody convert that to modern temperature or some shit.
I have
it was some fat guy being like, Yeah, it feels like 135.
I'm
Dude,
pretty-
have you
I
ever
have
been in Missouri in August?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's hot.
And
Like,
these
it
guys
fucking
are
sucks,
these
dude.
guys are wearing like fucking wool shorts and like like straw fucking shoes and shit like that. It's hot.
I'm
goddammit,
curious. I'm
you
curious
know?
about another aspect of the conversion, and that's what all 40 of them of the Celsius people that showed up to this thought when they saw 100 something.
Oh god. Yeah.
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 I didn't think about that until just now.
Yeah, they probably were not having a good time. Nobody was having a good time, really.
We're gonna boil.
Yeah,
So
they kind of did that on purpose though.
okay.
For the heat, like it was kind of like a fucking experiment that they did
Oh, that part.
to test the fucking physical
Well,
limits. you know?
the person who organized the race was trying to test the limits of a person with dehydration.
Yeah.
Does anybody know where Joseph Mengele was before the war?
Wasn't the dude's name like John or something? Anyways, like,
John Margula.
Joseph Mengele is like fucked up dude. Suddenly it makes just like a little bit more sense when they were just like, yeah, they're running 26 miles. Let's test out dehydration while we do this.
Yeah, this was a 24.85.
Oh yeah, no, they fucked up the distance.
Isn't it 26.2 a marathon?
That's a marathon. You would be correct.
Yeah,
right.
but they did not do that. They did 24.85.
Yeah, you know what? They're probably all the better for it.
they really were. We're gonna get into why here
Yeah,
in a minute.
I'm gonna give them that.
We're gonna
Yeah.
get into why here in a second. So as I mentioned before, 1904 St. Louis, the roads were dirt.
Dusty is dusty in that motherfucker.
So they ran not on a paved road, not on like a cobblestone. No, they ran on fucking dirt.
Yep.
And the problem is they also had to compete with traffic. So like
None of those were words.
Just laugh first and then talk.
Don't use your man voice now like you're fooling us.
None of the roads were roped off. So
No.
between like trolleys and trains and traffic,
whatever
just-
cars existed.
Passers-by.
or wild
Horses.
animals.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna get to that too.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to wild animals here in a minute. We're coming up to that. That being the case, so imagine it's 100% humidity, hot as fuck.
It's a million
You're
degrees.
running on a dirt road,
And you're in Missouri.
and you're in Missouri. So you're getting dust caked up on you, your clothes, your lungs, your face, just breathing in dirt, just not having a great time. And you know, marathon, you have like water stations, like people throwing water at you, splash on your face, drink some, whatever. It's fine.
Missouri said, "Eat a fucking dick."
We have a well 11 miles into it.
There's some Peaky Blinders, right? And there's some 6-year-old working in a factory going, I'm glad I'm not those guys.
And we made a joke about it earlier, but there actually was only one water stop. It was a well that was it gave you dysentery. So not only were you running for 11 miles, you're now running it for 11. Well, what was it? 20.
Now, that's where the well was, but didn't they bring it to mile 6 and mile 12?
There was a water tower that was not part of it that some of the guys found, and
Right.
then at mile 6, I think, is when they had the water spot you're talking about.
I
with the
ran a mile
dysentery.
11, but that's fine.
That's what I was wondering.
Okay, maybe 6 was the water tower, and
did it
then
leave
11 was
from the well
that's probably
or
what it
something?
There was
like
a
that.
water tower at 6 miles and
Okay.
a well at the halfway point. And what listeners will start to notice is that, like, hey, like, what do you mean they just went and got, like, water from a water tower? You'll notice any of these people just did whatever the fuck they wanted during this run.
Oh, yes. Oh, man. I forgot the runner's name, but to give an example of how awful this was,
William Garcia.
Oh,
the guy who collapsed during the race due to stomach injury, hemorrhaging.
Yeah, from the dust.
Yeah, he literally was coughing up blood because his stomach hemorrhaged due to how much dust was inside of it.
Yeah, coated his esophagus and almost pretty much ripped his stomach lining.
was he the guy found in the
Inside
ditch?
out.
I don't know about
I
a ditch.
forget who the guy was in the ditch. Whoever was found in the ditch was almost the first Olympic death.
Well, there's probably a few.
Yeah,
Most
it's
of
probably
these people
before that.
almost
yeah.
died.
To add to the point of just that, out of the 32 people who started this, only 14 finished it. And most of them not in good condition.
No.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is like looking at like the times, I couldn't find times for most of these people. They only kept
Some
track
of them,
of like the first three people, and
Right.
they
So-
just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, they really
the
did.
times are really bad too.
The winner is the slowest winning time in Olympic
Of all history.
Yeah, because he
By
didn't.
a lot.
Because he didn't run the extra 2 fucking miles.
Well, no, because they took a nap in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I'm actually, that's the guy I'm covering, actually.
There was a few athletes that ran. This wasn't all
Yeah,
just
no,
there's a few
you know.
people that go on to win the Boston Marathon
Yeah,
or
because-
have previously.
They were previous racers. Even
Yeah.
the two gentlemen from Africa, I think they weren't really athletes. They were kind of forced to be athletes already.
Yeah.
They
They were
were-
there for another reason.
part of an exhibit, whatever the hell that means.
Yeah.
Let's get into that real quick,
Yeah,
actually, because
yeah.
I'm done covering the beginning of this. Anyways, we have the setting. Now let's talk about the people that were involved with this
Yeah.
show.
Missouri.
So- that's a real fucked up part right there.
So
Yeah.
back to the World's Fair. So if you are one of our listeners who's been around for a bit, you probably know that we have an episode about the World's Fair. If you haven't heard it, go back and listen to it. It's pretty damn good. We cover these exhibits, quote unquote, that these two people from Africa were a part of. So as an exhibit, how do I put this the nicest way? No, fuck that shit. So these exhibits were pretty much where rich white people came to look at people from other countries in their natural habitat, quote unquote, which is
Yeah.
pretty much them playing in the goddamn dirt.
They
So-
call them
A zoo.
Anthropological.
anthropological exhibits. That's
Yeah,
what they
it's
call
a-
them.
Yeah, so they pretty much put people from other countries, brown people, in exhibits that were pretty much having them in a zoo.
Yeah.
People Zoo.
Indians,
Yep.
Pygmies, Africans.
And these guys
you know,
fought in a Boer War,
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
I
too.
believe you're correct.
Yeah, at least one of them, if not both.
Yes,
I want to say it was both.
I think you're right.
At this Olympics, they were having them do like mud fighting and like grease pole climbing and just weird events like that.
Those two guys, or
No,
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 they a bunch of people, but
Oh,
they
okay.
were too. They were just involved in that, and they just so happened to be at the World's Fair doing all this stuff. They hear about the Olympics, they're like, "Let's fucking do that."
You're right. I'd rather do that than this.
Yeah, like it's like, you don't got shoes. I don't give a fuck. Fucking fighting in the mud for goddamn 6 months, goddamn.
Right, I'm over here fighting in the mud for these people's enjoyment. I'm going to run at least.
When you guys covered the World Fair, did you talk about Dogtown?
I don't think we did.
Do you know what Dogtown is?
I don't think I do.
If you would think it's like an exhibit about dogs, you're halfway there.
Man,
Okay.
Dogtown was, because I thought we were going to cover more about the World Fair, but I forgot you guys covered it. Dogtown was where they had people, part of these human zoos, who would once a day eat dogs, like live in front of everybody else. And it got to such a point where people were kidnapping other people's dogs and bringing them to the exhibit to watch them eat the dog.
the Spanish flu should have happened sooner.
Or been better at it.
yeah.
Oh, I mean, it was bad.
It could have
If,
done
if
more.
it had just happened sooner, that'd have been cool.
So we were just total monsters during the World Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was another thing I forgot to mention in the beginning. The Russo, fucking, what war was it was going on?
Russo-Japanese war was going on.
Russo-Japanese war was going on. That
Yeah, I forgot
also
to mention
kept-
that as well. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's why Russia and Japan weren't there.
Yeah. There was a lot of people that were like, fuck that. I'm not doing
I
that.
would love to see some Russians and Japanese trying to find their way around rural Missouri.
It's funny. We mentioned how Russia was a part of the Olympics for this current year. They weren't part of this one either for similar reasons. But it was actually them getting their getting their asses kicked by a smaller country.
They've never been a proper country. It's been this the whole time. They've been a meat grinder without a brain for hundreds of years. Without an original thought over generations and generations of rulers. Not one of them has had an original fucking thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good now.
They came
Okay.
up with the idea of what if we threw bodies at it
And never changed
and
it.
that was the answer to every problem and we never changed that plan ever.
Didn't we actually discuss this on a prior podcast, like recently with us? We brought this up, or was this a conversation we're having? I know we were,
Might have been a conversation we were having.
because we definitely brought this up recently together. I think it might have been Friday we were hanging out, maybe. I don't
No,
fucking
it
know.
was
I'm trying to think of
the
subjects
last
that would've
episode
tied
we were
in.
talking about Franz Ferdinand assassination.
Oh,
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. That's why we would have brought it up, right?
Trailed off. And talked
Yeah,
about
because
Russia.
once again, if you haven't heard that episode, go back and listen. It was pretty good. But we actually do bring up the Russo-Japanese War because Japan invaded Russia in winter and won. So
And we bring it up briefly because it was embarrassingly brief.
yeah. Yeah, and also one of the funnier videos, I mentioned Blue Jay earlier, like as a YouTuber. If you guys haven't heard of him, check him out. It's pretty funny. History YouTube, like history comedy, kind of like what we do, but animated.
He's better at it.
Shut up.
Even if you're right, shut up. Where else can you get this level of yelling?
But he brings up in one of the episodes what happened to the Russian Navy during that war. And it is humor from start to finish. A lot of them died. Anywho, so let's talk about the people involved with it. Like, so we already brought
That's
up
Russia's
the
history. A lot
Yeah.
of them died.
a lot of them, but this time on boats. so there's that.
Russia, the Titanic edition. Continuing.
Yeah. So we already explained what happened to the two guys from Africa. One of them did race without shoes. There is a picture of it. I believe there's photo evidence of them running the race. They finished. That's cool.
Yeah, there's a picture. Like I said, I found it, but I don't know if he was just standing there on his way back from his
yeah, it's right
quarters. Yeah, that one right there.
Yeah.
You know, coming back from his quarters, maybe, or if that was actually
No,
the
that
race.
was it.
He ran out of his shoes from climbing that fucking grease pole and fighting in the mud. I would have done the same.
So the guy I'm going to talk about is the Cuban. He's pretty fucking funny. He's also one of the people that finished this race. But how he did it is fucking amazing. This guy's name Felix Carvajal,
Probably
aka
Carvajal.
God, I heard it like 20 times today.
yeah, I can't. I've heard it a bunch of times, so I just can't remember.
More of an H sound. So the
It's a lot going on there. I'm sorry if I mispronounced his name. Whatever.
I also heard it from the British, so I don't really count that as hearing it correctly.
Sure, that's fair.
Said it with a Celsius sound.
Mine I had like Andarin.
That's I was gonna get there.
Okay.
His other name is that.
Okay.
So he was Cuban mailman. Mailman from Cuba. Like we already mentioned before, like a lot of these runners weren't professionals. They were just people. Like I can run for a while.
I'm not doing anything Tuesday.
And then that. So it came from Cuba. Which thankfully is for him pretty close to America. In order for him to raise money to actually make it to America, he petitioned the mayor of Havana for funds by running around City Hall until he gave him money.
I will fucking run circles around you until you die.
Or
Somebody-
Baby.
Somebody asked him about his new shoes, and he took that literally.
He was also a mailman during the Spanish-American War.
No shit.
Yeah, so he was.
I keep thinking of that meme where he's like, why are you running?
Why are you running?
Why are you running?
For money.
I keep thinking of the two Africans. All they needed was 4 of their buddies, and they could have had that coffin business.
Oh, God.
Honestly, for
Going
half of them, they
during
probably
all of
needed
this.
it. They really needed it, actually.
Yeah, they would have made money here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So he raised enough money to make it to America to compete in the Olympics. So he had money to get to take the boat to get here and a train to make the rest of the way.
Now, it was donations, though, correct?
It was donations.
Because the mayor and them gave basically,
Yeah, pretty much.
screw you.
Yeah, so he did get donations. He did raise enough money to make it to America. And he made it to America and landed in New Orleans. So this dude, it's just, you took these people's money and then you lost it all on a game of craps. So he made it to New Orleans, started playing craps, lost all the money that he had earned. And this is not the first time this guy's going to be a piece of shit in this story, so just bear with me for a moment here while we get into it.
Generally, it's a pattern.
I see him as an inspiration.
There's more to his story than I'm going to bring up what he did in the Olympics and then what he did after that too. So there's
That'll
more
be
to this man's
interesting.
story.
I didn't know anything about after.
Oh, I found out. I had to. So yeah, lost all his way playing craps. He ended up hitchhiking his way to the Olympics. Cool, he made it. But he was wearing pants. So one of the other runners was like, "Hey, dude, I have some scissors. You want to cut your pants into shorts at least?" And so we did. So he starts off with the race. He's running, but he kept stopping running. He stopped running so many times just to talk to people. Like he found people on the side of the spectators. Like, "Hey, what's going on? How's your day?"
I say, like,
But in Espanol.
He liked telling jokes.
And
That's what I read. It was like he liked telling jokes.
yeah, I can see that.
Appreciated the crowd work.
He was doing crowd
He
work.
said, "Why did the Cuban cross the road?" And
To
he just
win the
runs away.
race.
I would have laughed so goddamn hard.
Like also like early 20th century dad jokes had to have been a thing.
100%. What else?
Just-
What else were you doing in that heat?
Dying of
Fucking
poverty,
use that.
Dying, yeah.
Making jokes about it.
watching African people climb a pole.
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't fucking know. Like, so
It was an interesting thing was said actually about those two also, where they weren't. And I'm curious if it was. I don't know if it was put this way for a certain reason, or if there were South Africans or something.
there were.
But prior, okay, because I thought it was interesting. They said that they were the first Black Africans.
Yeah,
in
it
the
was weird how they
Olympics.
phrased it, but they
Yeah.
were from South Africa.
Okay.
So I don't know if they phrased it like that. I'm pretty sure South Africa was still being pillaged for all of its goods at that point. So
Well, if the Boer War had had happened, then
oh, that makes sense.
then that's all going on. So that means that there were white Africans in the Olympics
Right.
prior to those two.
Prior to those two.
I just
that
remember
makes
that.
sense. Yeah, that actually does add up.
Yeah.
All right, where am I here? Okay, so
Reba.
so he's still running, doing his thing. Then he realized, like, man, I haven't eaten in a while. And there's a car of people and they're eating peaches. It's like, hey, can I have some of your peaches? They're like, no, fuck you. It's like, haha, no, fuck you.
I like pictured in my head, he's like sweating because he's wearing a fucking dress shirt,
Right.
And cut off fucking wool shorts.
Yep.
And these are people are like, no, man, I don't want the peach. He's like, give me the goddamn peach. He just fucking snatches it out.
See, for whatever reason, this accent is horrendously wrong. Like, it doesn't belong in his character whatsoever. But for some reason, any of his antics, I'm hearing that Indigo Montoya.
Oh, wow.
accent.
Like from Princess Bride?
Yes.
Jeez, dude.
Prepare to be relieved of your peace. or something. That's the accent I
He
keep
murdered my
hearing.
father.
Yeah. It's like, imagine he was smiling and they told him no, and then he's just like, man, give me the goddamn peach. What the fuck?
Right. Then it runs away.
Takes several peaches.
Oh man! So the journey of our man Felix keeps going. So he steals his peaches, takes off.
Just that sentence.
And then he
It wasn't run by fluting. R.I.P. Rob Williams.
indeed. So yeah, steals peaches, keeps running. Now I can't remember if he actually found the well and the guy dysentery from it, or was that somebody else?
I did
No,
not
it was
read
he ate the apples.
He ate the apples. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I have the apple. I wasn't sure if he got the well and the apples or just one of the two.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, after that he's still running. He finds an apple tree. He's like, cool, apples are dope. He takes some apples. Turns out they're rotten. He gets a stomach bug, starts puking everywhere, and decides because he has a stomach ache, for obvious reasons, to take a nap. So,
just gonna
Felix took a nap.
in wool shorts in Missouri
The heat of the day,
in 103 degree heat.
dude, that had to have been a worst of times.
Oh, absolutely.
To have
I mean,
that.
the
Like-
only benefit you have is not knowing anything better. That's the only.
The sweet
like,
release of death,
yeah, like, it's the only benefit you have.
because that's the better is death.
like-
actually,
Yeah, like Back to the Future and whatnot. Fuck that.
True. Yeah, I wouldn't go back in time anyways for numerous reasons.
I'm not staying for more than a day.
Yeah, I'm not going back in time no matter what for a lot of reasons.
I mean, fair.
Yeah, no. Anywho, so he takes a nap. Again, like you had to be miserable. Like you're hot as fuck, covered in wool, so itchy as fuck. You're now probably fired from both ends because you just ate rotten food.
Oh yeah,
So and you're in it's a pass out.
just
It's
diarrhea shit, all fruit. Yeah,
coming out both
Yeah.
ends. Oh yeah, you're firing, man. So it has to be miserable. He takes a nap. And then he wakes up and finishes his race. He finished fourth.
yeah.
Almost medaled.
The only thing that's upsetting is they don't have his time.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, because they have 1, 2, and 3, and they know the times on those. Hicks and then the other two that came after him.
Yeah.
But they don't know how far behind he was.
But I really wish he did get it, like at least
Yeah.
a bronze.
This is also
Well,
what he looks like. If you're
Because
wondering,
I
Yep.
love it.
this is Felix.
I
Yep.
love it. Because the
his
theory
box.
is that he might have won if he had taken, like,
If he didn't take a nap.
yeah, well, if he just kind of been more,
There's a few characters that might have
you know, aggressive
if
in his, in his racing.
Taking a nap in the middle of a race is a one way to not win, I feel like.
Yeah, dude, there's a real tortoise, like a real life tortoise in the hair.
it's like a Looney
Honestly.
Tunes
Yeah.
episode. Honestly,
It really is.
It's fucking crazy.
Looney
It's
Tunes
like a
episode.
Looney Tunes episode.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it's fucking wild. One of the
So-
I'm sorry, you had more. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so I have more about our boy Felix
Yeah,
here because
yeah.
again, like I just got curious, like what the fuck does this dude do after this? Like after his epic shenanigans.
Hell yeah.
Changed his name to Castro.
So he actually went back to Cuba, came back again the next year to run the all Western marathon. Apparently, he actually did better in that. Then he was selected to run in the 1906 marathon in Athens.
Oh.
There's some good shit with this. So it is actually really short. So since he was selected to run, not him just on his own, like fucking him to run. No, the government selected him to run. They paid for him to go over and run in Athens.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah, so
Because
his trip was,
logistically getting to Missouri, okay, I believe it. From Cuba. Cuba to Athens, Greece, there's a story here.
oh yeah. So
If he wasn't paid.
the again, Cuban government paid for him to get there. He landed in Italy and disappeared.
Oh shit, that's amazing.
he was to the point of disappeared where they actually published an obituary for him in Cuba. Like they thought the motherfucker was dead.
The fuck did it say?
That's amazing.
A year later, he reappears in Cuba.
I took a nap. You never heard of Rumpelstiltskin? He took 20 years. I'm faster.
Yeah, he reappeared in Cuba. He ran one more race, but there's no results of that race in 1909. But yeah, that is one to put the part in where he was paid. The government paid for him to go to Italy, and he disappeared. Didn't run the race. Like nobody knows what the fuck he did.
I like
but
that.
he took a
though.
vacation.
I like that though because it does. I doubt it was petty, but it feels petty.
I feel like it.
And like, no. I asked you for help before.
Right.
Fuck y'all.
I'm on vacation.
I'm gonna go see a Leaning Tower.
Take a nap.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't leaning yet, but
He's wise leaning.
Man, those were the fucking
just-
days. People just gave you money to go places and you just fuck off and there was nothing.
I like him because I feel like he's the purest form of the word rascal. That's why like I get a real rascal feeling.
I could get behind that.
From him. I
get behind that. That's good stuff.
Rapscallion, perhaps.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that needs to come back.
Rapscallion.
Yeah, that and
Indeed.
buffoon.
Oh man, I'd use that so much.
Buffoonery. Use it so much.
Tomfoolery is always fun. Hooliganism is one of my favorites.
Hijinks.
Yeah.
Hijinks is a favorite.
Not a hijinks.
Shenanigans.
Oh, shenanigans.
Oh, that's
stand
never gonna
by.
go away.
Yeah, that's never going anywhere. Thank you, Super Troopers.
Yeah, it's true. But that's all I got about our boy Felix, though. So I'm not sure who wants to go next. But I know we have a few more people to talk about because there were some characters again in the story.
Yeah, we do. I kind of want to just get some of the random guys' names out that were involved in the race, but not really have a crazy story. Because, like I said, they did have a couple athletes, all-American athletes: Sam Meller, A.L. Newton, John Lorden, Michael Spring, and Thomas Hicks.
All dead. But
Thomas Hicks is the one I will probably save
Hicks.
him for last.
Yeah, I was like, Hicks, we got to talk about.
Yeah, we'll save Hicks for last. I think that'll be
he
pretty cool.
was done dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll tag team this one, Ben, because one of the racers. Well, actually, first the two African gentlemen, I should say, which was Len Tao and John Mashiana from the Swana tribe of South Africa. One of those guys, Len Tao, which was not the shoeless guy, was chased by a dog,
Yes.
rabid dogs, somewhere through the course, about a mile off
mile
course.
off.
Yeah.
I think he.
So
I think he was the one
the
that
marathon.
I think he was the one that played. He did the Missouri marathon. He did the "You're not from around here" marathon.
Yeah, the go back the way you came, marathon.
Yeah.
The town's back the way you came.
Yeah, it's fucking
God
hilarious.
damn it, Kermit.
I just thought that was a cool thing we should mention about
Yeah,
those guys.
I think
Sure,
he
yeah.
placed ninth. I think he was the one that placed ninth.
Yeah, it was like 9th and 13th or
12th.
something. 9th and
12th
12th.
for the other
Okay,
gentleman.
yeah. So,
And
The hell did he do? Well, he didn't have shoes.
yeah, I
mind.
think he was
Yeah.
just having a rough go. It's just-
he was laughing his ass off at his buddy getting chased by a dog.
Yeah, I mean, either disrespected by early 20th century white people or getting chased by rabid dogs.
Yeah.
Both sound like a really bad time. They just had a bad time.
I think we'll probably, we should talk about Fred Lors right now. 'Cause
Oh,
this
yeah.
is like my favorite character of this whole thing. John, you talked about the bricklayer. That is Fred. He is the bricklayer. Fred trained at night for this. He actually got the spot at the Olympics by placing, I don't know what place he even got, but he did a 5-mile race sponsored by the American Athletic Union. So that was able to get him into the Olympics, like, you know, as a contender.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
As an
That's somebody
athlete.
of noteworthiness.
Yeah. Which he really wasn't.
You don't say.
Again,
it's-
like 5 miles is long, but like I've done 5 miles before. If you told me to run 26, like a 5-mile qualifier is fucking nothing.
Yeah, it's really not. And like I said, there was only a few really athletes there, you know, 5 that I had mentioned.
I think, yeah.
Yeah,
And most of them quit.
yeah, but this was more kind of a social experiment for the most part with the race because the coordinators, like the president of the committee who ran the Olympics, they wanted to test the waters. They were like, this race
Literally.
sucks.
I feel like we need to pull on this thread a little more. I think there's something deeper down that we need to discover later on, but continue.
Yeah. So Fred Lors cheated like a motherfucker.
Yeah, that's one way to say it.
Well, I mean, did he cheat or
Opportunistic.
go in with
Maybe-
the, you know,
Maybe they
with the
didn't,
prank?
because the rules that they established was they said that you could have a crew with
Right.
you to follow you and help assist you if you needed medical aid, water, things of that
you know,
nature.
whatever.
You know,
Cigarettes. It was the odds.
Yeah, it was the odds. It
You know,
was
maybe a flapper girl.
yeah.
in the car.
So Fred Lors did run a little bit of this race, you know, but he started experiencing some cramps, you know, and he was like, I don't think I can do this shit anymore, you know. So he flags down a vehicle.
Got passed by a Cuban.
I think so. They had like a car for the Olympics to basically, that's how they kind of knew what was happening. So they saw, you know, Felix on the ground. Garcia, the guy we talked about
Right.
earlier, it was an hour that he was out before anybody found him.
Oh, I believe it.
Like he was fucking dying. And like if he was waited any longer, he probably would have been fucked. But they had a vehicle kind of like keeping
Yeah.
track of things,
well,
you know.
Hicks and Lors are tied together with that.
Yeah,
As
they
well,
are.
a
You
vehicle,
know.
but yeah,
They saw
So,
the South African getting chased off by the dogs.
Huh.
Like,
Now, I don't know how many
Oh,
miles.
that's interesting. You don't see that every day.
the clan's here.
Fucking hell.
I don't know how many miles Lors actually ran, but I do know he hitchhiked a ride for 11 of those miles, of those 24.85 miles.
Uh-huh.
He completed this race in 3 hours and 13 minutes, and as the winner. when he showed up, you know, he got out the car probably a couple miles before. He was like, all right, but I'll fucking see you later. Thanks for the ride.
Well,
you
the
know?
car broke down.
The car broke down?
The car broke down.
Oh, wow.
And by then, he was
That's
feeling,
hilarious.
somewhat
Well,
okay.
all right.
He's like, well, the cramps are gone.
Right.
And he's got to go forward anyway to get the hell out of the race.
He stopped and got water.
but not the necessary water.
It makes me think of it, and I hate the movie, I really do, but it does make me think of that Dictator movie where he just turns around and shoots
Oh, yeah.
all the other racers.
Oh, yeah.
He's just riding into the car.
Yeah.
Why does nobody else do this? Marathons are easy.
So Fred Lors passes the finish line, a fucking roaring of the crowd. Teddy Roosevelt's daughter was the one to basically award him his medal. And I think, were they doing gold medals at this
They
one?
were.
Because it was silver medals at the first Olympics. They weren't even giving out
he was
gold.
going to get the
and bronze.
gold. The gold was going to
Yeah.
be given to him originally.
And I don't know if this was the first Olympics they did that with, because it
know.
used to be just silver for the very first Olympics. I know that. And then they started, they weren't giving like,
to the internet.
everybody was just getting like, you're the winner, you get silver. You know,
Right.
there wasn't bronze or anything like that. So now we kind of got to get into Hicks for this part because Hicks had a couple guys. He had probably the best situation to win this fucking race.
On paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, it was 1904 was the first Olympics.
It was
they
the
used
first
gold.
one. Okay.
In
Yeah.
execution, trust nobody. Ever.
So, Tim Hicks, that's the name, right? Tim Hicks.
I believe so. Hicks for sure. I
Yeah,
think is the
two
first
of the
episode.
guys that was following him by vehicle had actually seen Fred Lors get into a vehicle and hitchhike. So Fred Lors was found out
Yeah.
to not be the winner.
But not quite that quickly because first Hicks had heard about Lors crossing the finish line.
Yeah.
Thought he won and was begging his people to let him stop, and they told him no.
Yeah, they were
Right.
like, no. We don't stop. I got something for you. Though.
Yeah, somebody
Yeah.
had a gun.
So before, no,
I'll say
they had something better.
Yeah.
Or worse.
Hicks saw a
Much
lot
worse.
of things during this.
He saw God.
Honestly,
Now-
before Gatorade, this is what we had.
Now, Hicks had previously raced in the Boston Marathon, so he was an experienced runner. But he added with the heat and the dust, wasn't doing so well.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I
And
mean?
again, the clothing of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
yeah.
not necessarily wearing wool. I don't know, but still,
It's not
It's not like
cozy.
what we're.
Yeah, it's not our athletic wear now.
Yeah.
Yeah, not what we're used to now.
And like we said, these guys are these have 7 hills in this course that go.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot to
and
mention that.
downhill.
My
I
bad.
wasn't one of them like 300
300 feet?
1
Yeah.
to 300 feet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like
not only
insane.
they're dodging traffic, they're running
They're
on
dodging heart attacks.
fucking. Yeah, there's literally dodging death at every
Yeah.
fucking point. You know.
Middle
So
America. Just
so some of Hicks' crew was like, you know what, we gotta pick him up a little bit, and they were basically feeding him egg whites, strychnine,
brandy.
and brandy. Now strychnine.
and refusing him water.
Yeah.
Weren't they drying? Like, weren't they like drying his
They
mouth
were
up with a
sponging
sponge?
off his tongue and mouth
Right.
with distilled water for some
For some
reason.
reason. They're
like,
I
trust me.
hope they're burning in hell.
I feel like that had something to do with the strychnine. I really
maybe.
do. Because if you guys don't, like, just a rough reference, you guys don't know about strychnine, it's basically rat poison.
Right.
But in very, very small doses, it could be used as a stimulant.
So no, in very small doses, it is perceived as a stimulant or a performance enhancing drug, but really what it's causing you to do is become spastic. That's what it's doing.
Yeah.
And by the end of the race, well, Hicks's end of the race,
Yeah. They really didn't have a lot figured out in 1904. There was.
no,
You don't fucking say.
he had taken approximately 2 to 3 milligrams of strychnine.
Yeah, probably a little too much.
So this guy is my fucking idol. The Terminator is real, and they designed him in 1904.
Yeah. And this guy's begging for sleep. He's begging to stop. He's begging for water. And they're like, how about you have some more?
The best thing, he could have just
this.
stopped. I don't understand it. Like, he could have just stopped
They
moving.
said-
I mean, by that point, he's poisoned and drunk, which is actually just poisoned another way.
He's an athletic Rasputin.
You want to win the race, don't you? Come on.
So, somebody had dirt on him.
What's a little more strychnine? Come on.
All right.
Yeah.
You know what's better than strict 9, strict 10? Get over it, pansy.
I guess so. The dude's fucking hallucinating the whole time as well because of the fucking rat poison. I guess when he was within like a mile of the finish line, he thought he still had 20 more miles to go.
He did. Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know that part.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
And he ended up being like, what? He was dragged across the finish line.
He was.
Both of
Yeah.
those jackasses
Yeah.
carried him over.
I don't think his legs were working at that point, but he was dragged across
His
the finish line.
brainstem.
Well, he
the only thing
lost,
working.
what, 8 pounds throughout the process of the
No,
race?
more than that.
What?
I think.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he lost a lot of fucking weight.
Holy
He was
shit.
dehydrated, and the brandy. You know, he probably just threw up and shit. Like,
Well, they said, how many
I
doctors
would-
did it take to fix him? Like, wasn't it like, yeah, it was like a team of doctors.
Yeah,
It
you
took
know.
to actually
not
save
wanna
his
be-
life.
I would not want to be anywhere near that man's pants.
To be fair, in
be fair.
1904, I would trust Ben to be a doctor before 4 of these other doctors.
What the fuck does that mean?
You're not a fucking doctor, Ben.
And
I would trust you before these 4 medical professionals.
Well, did you know that Ben has
1904.
strychnine on him? And brandy.
I just took exception with that pointed reference.
this quote that they say about Timothy Hicks, like they said, there was not a semblance of elastic spring with which he had started. Like by the end of the race.
So the man was just dead.
Yeah,
So that's actually what you're telling me.
I miss the way we used to speak.
It was elegant.
It was.
Oh god, it's
This
amazing.
motherfucker's dying.
Yeah. And now Hicks finished the race. I think it was like 5 hours, 14 minutes, something like that. And he did officially win the race. They counted it as a win because he had assistance,
Right.
But he didn't.
It wasn't outside of the rules at the time.
Fred Lors was found out to be a phony, and Fred was just like, "I was just kidding, man.
Right.
I knew
in
I
front
knew I
of the
did that."
president and the president's daughter. You fucking phony.
You know,
You thought I won the race. You, yeah, you. Right.
I've never seen.
the strychnine and brandy.
I've never seen Teddy Roosevelt's daughter, but I really want to know how manly she looks.
Now, Fred Lors, we should mention, he supposedly got banned for life from running in marathons,
Yeah.
but also placed the very next year in the Boston Marathon.
Yeah, it lasted a whole year after he made his apology tour,
Yeah.
so to speak. So that's been a constant
Yeah.
for humanity since
Yeah.
there's been a media.
I think that took him quite a while, to get past that
The old
part.
radio.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the 2 that I had, which are really like the funniest fucking characters, honestly.
I think so far we've been nailing the hilarity that ensued at the fucking marathon of 1904
Like,
because it's just
Yeah.
And again, just to emphasize, the winning time of this marathon that I have, the official one, was 3 hours and 28 minutes.
That was Fred Lors.
It is the slowest time to date. The next slowest time is 29 minutes faster.
Wow.
And again, this was not a marathon. It was 2 miles
Yeah, they
short.
still had, I remember they still had a ways to go.
and honestly though, like the dirt road, the hilly terrain, the dodging traffic,
And-
I think they fucking earned it, man.
And that's it.
Like,
More than one person went down due to their esophagus and lungs.
Yeah, people
Yeah,
were
just-
vomiting.
They were
There was-
they were dropping because of conditions, and those were some of the actual athletes
Yeah,
that were
there's-
involved in this too. That were just you can only suck in so much dirt.
Yeah, like you said,
Man.
14 out of the 32. You know, the other everyone else pretty much quit. They were like,
Yeah.
nope.
yeah.
Those were the smart
good.
ones.
Yeah. Like I'm just gonna go home now. You know?
Those were the real winners.
Yeah, the ones that weren't voiding their insides on the side of the fucking road. That sounds about right. Sounds like a W.
Do they still do the tug of war at Olympics?
I don't think so.
Is that still a game?
I really don't think so.
I wish they did. That'd be a really cool one.
All right.
I was just looking
I
at the
didn't know
list
that
of.
they did.
No, I was looking
Yeah,
at the list
it's-
of games they did at that Olympics, and they had tug of war on there, and I was like, oh wow, that'd be or water polo.
I'm sure one of the games on there is like
Is water polo
build a
still a
house.
thing in the Olympics?
Yeah.
I feel like it should be. Right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Isn't synchronized swimming too?
Yeah.
And all that, yeah. I don't feel like the water.
Oh
sports
yeah,
have
the
changed
water
all that
polo
much.
thing. That is still a thing because I'm pretty sure
Okay,
doesn't I did not look this up. This comes off the top of my head, so if I'm wrong, forgive me. But I'm pretty sure the women's water polo team for America is sponsored by Flavor Flav.
Get the fuck out of here.
What?
Pretty sure I'm right.
How many ex-wives are on there?
That's a good question. to believe that we lived at a time where there was a game show and the prize was Flavor Flav is fucking wild, man. Like,
I also heard it not about these Olympics. The current one, I guess, like I can't remember what the event is called, but essentially it's a long distance bike race.
yeah, I just found it. By the way, it is, yeah, Flavor Flav is sponsoring the U.S. women's water polo team at the Olympics.
God damn.
So there's a really sad story behind why he's doing it. The women's Olympics team was so underfunded that the women that were on the team were actually working multiple jobs just to afford to go.
Oh, jeez.
So he found out about it and started and paid for them.
God damn it! Why are we so terrible?
I don't know.
I should mention.
Say, don't say we. I didn't do shit.
As a country.
The director of the Olympics, James Sullivan, had made kind of a note about this, and he was like, I don't think we'll be doing this at the next Olympics, the marathon.
Hopefully he meant the vomiting
I don't-
or
I
the
don't-
poisoning
I don't think we'll do that.
Yes.
or the
Oh.
dirt.
You mean they learned something from this?
He said,
That's hard to find.
he
I don't
said
believe that.
it is indefensible on any ground, but historic.
Okay.
I got news for him. It's still not defensible.
Yeah.
Okay.
One note, maybe more water points.
I want to know the story. I want to know the story that the Africans went back with. I want to hear that being told.
Probably still thought it was great.
Well, yeah, I just want to hear about the rabid dog. Just minding my business, running down this dirt road, and just,
As a person who's been chased by a rabid dog, not on foot, thankfully, I was on a bike, but still, it's not a great time.
no, I would not be.
It's not a great
I've
time.
definitely been chased by a dog, not rabid.
Oh yeah, it was a rabid dog that was left outside. It was a horrible story, really. Now I think back on it, I was a kid. Dog broke off the leash, chased me down the street. Thankfully, in my defense, literally in my actual defense, I was on the way to meet my friends at the baseball park, the baseball field in Gary down the street from my house, and I had my baseball bat with me. That dog didn't chase me that much longer. So, yeah, good times. Anyways, did you guys have anything else to discuss about this? Or
So yeah,
what you got?
I got to jump ahead.
I was
4
going to say,
years.
this is why I don't run marathons.
Rabid dogs.
Dude, I have asthma. The fuck? I look like running anywhere.
So I'm going to jump ahead 4 years.
All right.
But first, I'm going to jump back to the 1500s. And then I'm going to jump to the 1700s. And I'm going to jump back to the 1900s.
All right.
Okay?
Fuck it, send it.
So,
Yeah, right.
so as we'll remember, John, I don't remember. You weren't on the Phantom Time episode, right?
No.
Yeah, so 1500s, the Gregorian calendar is adopted, right, by the Catholic Church. So all the countries under the Catholic domain, most of them, adopt the Gregorian calendar in lieu of the Julian calendar. But things like England and certain other nations that had orthodoxy faiths remained on the Julian calendar. So, for reference, England remained on the Julian calendar until 1751. And in Russia, the proper nation that it always has been,
Okay.
let me get this nice and close,
Oh, jeez.
didn't convert until after the 1917 revolution. So why this is funny, why this matters, is that the Russians showed up 12 days late to the 1908 Olympics in London because they were on the Julian calendar.
Yeah, didn't they show up like the day of?
No, 12 days late.
Oh, late. Oh, shit. I'm thinking of something else.
12 days late.
Jesus Christ.
And that's how you do a callback to one of our episodes.
Indeed, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, there you go.
That's fucking great.
Not only I've done a bad job referencing several of our episodes earlier, but you okay. Yeah, it's fine. No offense taken. Carry on.
You did great. You did great.
Over here trying to read about Flavor Flav being a great person. Fuck you, man.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all we got.
Oh,
Me and
All
Ben
right.
did our part. You're supposed to do your part now. Close
well,
the,
all right,
close the episode.
I will close the door on this one then. All right, that's fine. All right.
That was
fine.
me at the beginning.
Just sitting in silence.
Well,
How confused do you think our listeners would be if it just went to immediate silence? No. You're like, what the fuck just happened?
You never watched The Sopranos, did you?
hit his fade to black. Jeez. I just remember we used to use an outro song. Probably should start bringing that back. Anyways. Well, Ben and John, thanks for coming back on the podcast again. We had a pretty good one this week. It was pretty fun, at least. At least we got some laughs in there. You know, I laughed.
No, I had a shit talking this time.
I definitely laughed.
Feels good to have a fun one.
Yeah,
All of us-
we honestly need to do a fun episode. It's been a while because most of the time when you bring up topics, it's usually pretty sad.
We're sitting here talking shit about people running for their lives, and we're like, fucking dumbasses.
Really
It was the earnest look that Aaron just gave me. Anytime you're here, it's sad.
John's typically crying in the corner by the end of the episode.
You just have trauma after every episode, I feel like. It's why you live alone with a bunch of cats.
My dog.
Get your shit together.
I got my 2 dogs.
You have 2 dogs and how many cats now?
There's 3 of them.
There's 3 cats?
Oh, yeah, dude.
When the hell did you get 2 more cats?
Exactly. Yep. Got divorced, got a bunch of cats, lives alone.
You're on the wrong side of this
Why are
equation.
you?
Just fucking ended. God damn.
Were you talking about the episode?
Just trying to get John through the...
Happy 32nd birthday to me.
Actually, I did wish you happy birthday on last episode, so there we go.
I'm gonna fucking check out of life. Why wasn't John on any more episodes?
You'll be fine.
He went to a farm upstate. That's a quote from you.
Anyways, if you made it this far in the episode, thanks for listening. Required Taste Podcast, you can find us on all social medias. Well, the main ones. On every listening device. So if you want to share us with your friends, that'd be pretty neat. Want to follow us? That'd be even neater. Also, give us a like. We can always use more reviews. Gives us more exposure. And we, of course, would appreciate it. Other than that, we thank you. And y'all be cool.
Thanks, guys.